Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet, and happy Thanksgiving if you're watching this from Canada. It's Thanksgiving weekend here. I hope you're having a great one. So today, you guys, I'm doing another book talk video. Normally I do these on Friday, but I just could not wait to talk about this book. Plus, it doesn't really fit into like the whole spooky book thing we have going on in October. So let's just jump into it. We're going to be talking today about Elites of Eden by Joey Graceffa. Joey Graceffa, if you're unfamiliar, is a YouTuber here on this platform, and he's got tons of subscribers, I think over 8 million. He's a multi-talented YouTuber. He makes great content on his channel. He makes nail polish, which I've reviewed in the past. He writes these excellent books, and I'm a big fan, and so is my daughter. We both just really enjoy him. So if you've been on my channel for any length of time, you might have seen last year I did a review on his first Eden book that was called Children of Eden, and this is the sequel. I will link the video to the first one if you're interested. So this book kind of picks up about 6 months after the first one leaves off. By the end of the first one, things had really kicked off. So just to set up for you a bit about what the world is like in these Eden books is it takes place about 200 years after the eco-fail, which is when pretty much the whole planet was destroyed, and along with most of humanity. The soil became toxic, all the trees and animals began to die, and then the remaining humans were taken to a place that was created by a man named Aaron Albaz. He made this place. So he made this place called Eden where the surviving humans could go and live. It's kind of become like, sort of a microcosm for the planet. Everything inside of Eden is man-made, all the materials and everything. There's no wood or any naturally occurring materials because that's just gone. There are different circles in Eden. The rich live on the inner circle. The poor people live on the outer circles. And yeah, it just kind of functions inside of itself. But along with that, there's a very, very, very strict rule. And that is that families in Eden can only have one child. So the first book is kind of about how this one family ended up with twins. And what happens when your baby is born, lens implants are put on their eyes to make them so that everyone's eyes look the same. And it's also, these lenses are also sort of a way for the center of Eden, where the government and the people in control have a way to track you. So the first book is about this set of twins, one who is able to go and live in the world, and then the second child, this girl named Rowan, and how she sort of has to stay at home, not living. And then what happens is eventually they try to find implants for her to put on her eyes by like an underground sort of black market doctor, so that she can kind of then be put into a different family and live on the grid and not have to hide anymore. So a ton of stuff happens. I don't want to spoil that first book for anyone who hasn't read it, but in her sort of adventure to try to find out what's going on, she finds this underground group of other second children who have sort of made up their home down there. And then all kinds of crazy stuff happens. So then when the second book picks up, Ash, who was the first twin who was sort of living legitimately, and then Rowan is the second twin. So what's happened now is the second book sort of picks up, and we meet a girl named Yarrow. And we don't know who she is at first, or what she has to do with this story. And the story takes place, it begins in an elite private boarding school where the richest kids of the area all go. And we meet Yarrow and Pearl, and then very quickly things start to kick off. Now, if you don't want any spoilers, let me just say this. It's an excellent story. If you loved the first book, you will love this book. But now leave, because I'm going to talk about a few things that if you're not wanting spoilers, you're going to want to get out of here. Okay, you got? All right. So what we soon find out about 50 pages into the book is that this girl Yarrow, who's absolutely kind of just the worst, is Rowan from the first book, but she doesn't know it, and for a while we don't either. Because what happened was she was at the end of the first book, she was caught by the center and the government, and she was taken, she was brainwashed, and then she was put into society with this rich family she thinks is her mother. She has no memories of her old life as Rowan with the twin brother, and, you know, she made a best friend, Lark, who was sort of a best friend / love interest, and then there was Lachlan, who was another second child that she met in the underground. She has no memory of any of them. Next thing we know, Lark shows up at the school, so that's the friend that she had been very close with. Lark had been very close with Ash, her twin brother. They had went to school together. Lark shows up at this private school, and when Yarrow / Rowan sees her, she gets a feeling. She doesn't know why. She doesn't know who this person is, but she gets this feeling that, just this weird feeling, and over the next little while they get a little close and start to talk a bit, even though the main reason they're getting close at first is because Pearl, this other private boarding school girl, wants to torment Lark, because that's just what they do to new kids. And but through that they get close, and then Rowan / Yarrow starts to have some sort of memories, and over time Lark finally spills it once Yarrow comes to enough on her own, and then they leave and they go back to the underground where the second children are, even though Rowan at this point, she's still not entirely sure what's true and what's not, but she feels in her heart that what she's being told is correct, is the truth. So she goes, and a ton of stuff is going on. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's such a fun, fast-paced read. Joey is an absolutely talented writer. I read this in about 2 days, and my daughter now is just chomping at the bit to read it too, because I told her I had to read it first. So she can't wait to read it. And it's just, if you love those sort of dystopian, in the future sort of books where there's just a lot of conflict, you'll love this series, the first one, the second one, and I can tell by the way that the first one ends that there will be a third one on the way, and I just can't wait. I think these books would translate really beautifully into films, which maybe, you know, maybe that'll happen down the road someday. It would be excellent. I can see it so clearly in my mind as I'm reading it. Yeah, I give these 2 thumbs up, and I'd love to know your thoughts. Did you like it? Did you read the first one? Let me know in the comments down below, and I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving weekend, or I believe it's Columbus Day down in the States, or Columbus Day weekend, and I will see you guys on Wednesday with another Tea Talk video. Take care, guys. Bye.